fighting each other. Let them be. There once.
Kill.
Nice.
Oh, look at this. Bam! Yeah! Oh my! God damn!
All right, everybody, let's start this thing. Hold on 1 second. Let me get into the main room here. And oh, there we go. We got some faces. Hey, Ricky, why don't you give us a proper intro now?
You want me to run it down for you? All right.
Yeah, run down.
Welcome back, y'all. Welcome to the show. We're a couple disabled guys passionate about all things disability. I'm Ricky, your local quadriplegic. With me, as always, is Bill.
The legs still don't work. If you're curious.
That's better than what I was going to say and what I usually say, anyways. But there you go. And last but not least, we have John.
Yo, how's it going, world?
But we also
He may
got
not
someone
be a sight
special.
for sore. Oh, damn it! I fucked
He
it
may
up.
not be
He
a
may not
sight
able to
for
see, but
sore
he might be a sight
eyes.
for sore eyes. Together, we make up Real Life Problems, a podcast
Mm-hmm.
disabled by the disabled for the disabled. I am butchering this. You know what? We're sticking with it. And today we have our guest Ryan, also known as BlindRyan, with
Yup.
truly original name. Say
Or
hello.
just Ryan.
Dude, I got the name in jail. Okay, I wasn't gonna fucking correct them.
Oh, damn.
I mean, legally blind Ryan doesn't fucking flow off the tongue as well.
Well,
no,
right,
that
well-
it doesn't.
we dove right in there. We're right down
All right,
in the gutter
yeah,
already.
Since you're a guest, let's unpackage that really quick. You said you were in jail and you
Yep.
earned the nickname Blind Ryan in jail.
I did a year in my early 20s. I went to a college party, and this was in California, so the law doesn't even exist up here. So, I went to a college party, and some chick showed interest, and I asked to see ID. I couldn't see the ID. I asked the guy whose house we were at, or apartment, And he said, yeah, she's of age. So we went, and I got a handy, and a couple months later, off I go to jail for statutory, except it wasn't statutory. She'd said that I'd hidden a blade in my blind cane.
Because
So
that's
my
the
DA managed to
thing.
get all the charges dropped except for one misdemeanor, because technically I did do something with an underage woman, even though I didn't know she was underage. So I got a year in jail, 5 years of counseling, lifetime registration, and then we get up to Washington, and the detective laughed at me, like straight to my face. So it hasn't really been a big issue up here. They pop in every so often. Hey, are you still living here? Yeah. Okay, bye. That's pretty much it.
That is
So,
one
yeah.
hell of a story to start off an interview. Like,
I am an evil person.
okay, so but you said that you got the nickname Blind Ryan
Yep.
while in jail.
There were 5
jail or
different.
prison?
It was jail.
Jail.
1 year maximum sentence on a misdemeanor.
Oh, wait,
And
wait. 1
I got the
second.
nickname. What's
Okay.
up?
I need to turn that off. That thing is way too loud and it's way too long. But anyways, continue because I didn't want people to miss out, but I think they may have missed. So let's rewind real quick to the part where you said in Washington they don't really care about it. It hasn't been an issue. The one guy's laughed.
Yeah, in Washington, they basically just the detective laughed at me. We went through the paperwork. Everyone's kind of joshing around, and ever since then, they pop in every couple of years. Hey, are you still here? Yes. And like when we moved to this new place, we went down there. We filled out the paperwork. Everyone's really cool.
Yeah.
So not a big issue up here because in Washington State, people aren't fucking lunatics, or at least not on the eastern half of the state.
Okay,
So-
so like I said, you got the nickname Blind Ryan. I'm still trying to unpackage this part. Like,
There
What-
were 5 different Ryans. And at this point, I was very well known for having my nose in a book, like actually in a book. This was before my cataract surgery, which completely fucked up my ability to read print.
Damn.
So, I mean, what else are you gonna do in jail? You either play cards, you read, or you draw. Or I mean, it was an open pod, so it was all bunk beds and shit. So you basically just kind of kept to yourself, or you made trades, made friends. You never keep friends out of jail, and so it sucked at first, but once I had a release date, it was a lot easier to deal with because you could look at the release date and go, well, at least it's not forever.
so basically, you got the name because there's other Ryans there, and then you have a disability, and they're like, let's slap that on you.
I am the blindest of the Ryans, yes, at least at
Yeah.
that time.
Wow.
All right, so follow-up question, since this is
Yeah.
a disability podcast and we're all a bunch of cripples here, what is the nature of your disability? Because I don't know you at all. This is my first time ever talking to you, and so I just want to know who you are and what is your disability. And
I was born 3 months early in '83, so I've got retinopathy of prematurity. I'm blind in my left eye. I've got 2400 in my right eye, so I'm not far off from being blind. I've noticed how Glitched looks at his screen. I don't have to get quite that close, but it's not that far off. I've got moderate deafness in my left ear. I've got asthma and COPD, and I've got fibromyalgia. So I've got a variety bucket of fun.
It
Bucket.
sounds like it.
A bucket of fun. Just a
Mhm.
bucket of fun.
Yep.
Voyager's
Not
doctor,
quite-
please state
not-
the nature of your medical disability.
Yes.
Voyager's doctor. What reference am I losing?
Oh shit, Son showed up. Hi, Son.
What reference am I missing out on there?
I believe it's a Star Trek reference. I'm not 100% though. I'm not a big Trekkie myself.
That's what I that's
Yep,
what I was.
Star Trek Voyager.
Yep. Okay, I got it.
I wonder what sales are on.
Yeah, but
okay, so you were born with a left blind. You're born with your left eye blind. How has that affected you throughout your life? I mean, I guess it's the only life you've ever known, but like, if you had to kind of personify or put it into a paragraph, like, how has
Well,
that affected you growing up?
The way I describe blindness is it's not black, it's not white, it's not anything. It's just an absence of something that you know should be there. So it doesn't feel much different from day to day. Like my field of vision is my field of vision. That's how it's always been. But every so often I'll get like a little flash or a little feeling that something should be over there to the left. As for distance, I've never really been able to see good distance, so it doesn't really affect me. Every so often it'll, oh, look over there. Damn, you people really do have good vision. So,
Well, okay, let me try rewording that question. Like, how does it affect you day to day? Like, what is your normal routine? Do you have to? I guess you said you have a cane. I guess you carry a cane around with you all day.
it depends on the route. If I know the route well, I don't even have to carry a cane. I just have to be a little careful where I step. But like if
Okay.
it's a new route, I take the cane more as a depth finder than anything else because I can see mostly what I need to see to get around. But I like step down, especially down steps. I will completely fall on my face.
Have you?
A couple of times, not recently though. But the blindness is easy because I've been through the system. Not all of the system. I went to a blind school but didn't stay very long. But I went through O&M. I went through training if I ever lost my vision. Turns out I'll never lose my vision. My retina's as secure as it's gonna get, and nothing's gonna unlodge that little fucker. So, but like, it's basically now that the cataract is out and my vision's worse because they moved my sweet spot. That was a great idea by that doctor. It's mostly just asking people for prices, asking people for directions on things, paperwork, all that crap. My wife has to fill out my paperwork for me and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Honestly, my lungs are the bigger problem. The fibro is just an annoyance, a constant, never-ending annoyance, and the moderate deafness it gives me migraines sometimes. But the asthma is the absolute ass kicker for fucking up a life because like if the allergens are out or if it's over 80 degrees or if it's humid or it'll fuck up a day.
So like you were
Really?
telling me about like we were talking and you were telling me about like how the smoke, like people burning stuff, that
Yeah.
that like affects the
Yeah, like my roommate
Yeah.
got a charcoal grill, and we didn't know our other roommate had left her window open on vacation, so it blew in here, and I ended up having to take my puffer like twice, and I couldn't breathe, I couldn't stream, I couldn't do a damn thing, and it's my mindset to be productive. I don't want to be the lazy cripple. That's just I can't coincide with that. I have to be doing something. Because whenever when you're a kid, you're told you turn into adult, you move out at 18, you get a job. That was last generation kind of thing, and it was always really pounded into my head to get a job, and I couldn't get a job, and we didn't know that until I was 28, because the Department of Rehab likes to jerk you around, and
yeah.
oh, my wife was so pissed when they told us that they couldn't get me a job ever.
Understandable.
Like, why the fuck didn't you tell me that 10 years ago?
Right?
So do you have a job now?
Well, I'm an accessibility consultant.
He's
I do
extremer.
Yeah, I'm a streamer. I mean,
Extraordinaire.
I do what I can at home to kill time. That's pretty much it, and try to make a difference in the world. I've done a bit. I mean, I've interviewed Notch way back when I started for some reason, and then Disco Elysium devs tapped me to help make their game more accessible. I'm hoping to hear from them soon about that. They're not very involved with getting in touch with me personally. I mean, they do, but I mean, it's like every couple of months or something.
One suggestion that I would have, because originally how I ended up getting the key that Ryan ended up getting, and it started that whole thing. Like, not to give myself too much credit.
That's right. You did give me the key.
But
you were the one that gave me the key to open the door.
But anyways, I was going to say though that I noticed that being part of their Discord and then being able to reach out to their I forget what the person's name is, but reaching out to their exact they have like a person that deals with like all their social stuff, talks to the
usually
people.
community manager.
Yeah, it's a community manager. Their community manager was great, by the way. And then also I kind of had a question. I was just curious. Can you tell us a little bit about the special thing that you do with your stream that's unlike others, because there is something special that I know that you do with it that makes it.
Technically, I do two special things, but I think I know which one you're talking about. So Disco Elysium, I was doing a playthrough of it, and I was reading it out because that's what I do. I read text. It's just how I retain information. Everybody's different like that. And through Twitter, fucking Twitter, I met Super Blind Man and a bunch of other blind people, and I was thinking, well, this story is really well written, it's really engaging, it's really entertaining. I'm going to describe the whole fucking game for him because there's not much more than the writing. I'm already describing the writing, so I'll just restart and let the audience kind of do their own thing. So I played a few games beforehand to make sure I got into the whole descriptive mindset, and now I describe games to the blind. And currently I've done Disco Elysium, and I'm working on Persona 4 Golden, and I do other like little one-shots like RimWorld and stuff like that. CMs are the unsung heroes of game devs. They take so much shit all the time, no matter the game. Yeah, you ain't kidding there, son.
Oh, for sure.
I'm kind of surprised she showed up.
Man.
Surprised but happy.
A good thing.
So, to go back on what you said before, has your criminal past, to put it lightly, has it kept you from getting a job at all?
Oh yeah, mostly it's the disabilities though. I've never been turned away because of the whole sex offender thing. I hate saying it like that because it's not like it that's not how it happened. But
you got a handy and it was an unfortunate situation.
It was the most expensive handy I've ever gotten. But no, I get turned down because of the asthma and the fibro now. And that's I have a huge problem with the ADA for that because employers are scared shitless of anybody that has an invisible condition. Blindness you can explain away. Okay, I can't see, but if you give me this, this, and this, I can do work. That's totally fine. Same with wheelchairs. Give me a ramp, I'm good to go. There you go, fine. Quadriplegic. Give me the computer with X settings, Y settings, Z settings. I can do the work. Cool. Asthma, nobody can wear cologne or perfume, and if they do, I will collapse and you guys will be held responsible. Nobody's going to take a risk for that. Even if you sign a fucking contract or, give them your word that you would never sue, there's still that thing in the back of their head. The ADA gives them special treatment. The ADA gives them special treatment. So ever since that fucking law passed in the 90s, people like me who have invisible conditions cannot get hired, will not get hired. I've never gotten a single interview or a single callback ever. And I've had to actually hound people to tell me, look, why won't you fucking hire me? Why don't you give me the time of day? And eventually one of them just broke down and said, okay, look, dude, it's your asthma. We don't want to take a risk on it. And so I go back to fucking Department of Rehab and go, look, it's not my eyes. It's not anything else. It's not even the conviction. Nobody's touching me because of the asthma. Why didn't you guys tell me this? And we could have figured out something else for me to do. We could have figured out a skill I could have learned at home or something, or like a college class or something.
Yeah.
But no, they just completely dropped the ball and completely fucked me over. And I'm noticing that I'm not the only one. There's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of disabled people out there who fell through the cracks like that. And just knowing you're not the only one is a fucking world of relief.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that work at home is becoming a thing. Sorry, Ricky.
That's actually thank God for technology, because if Twitch didn't exist, if YouTube didn't exist, if the internet didn't exist in the form it does now, how fucked would we all be? I mean, what would we do to give ourselves fulfillment? Because that's what every human needs, fulfillment. Everyone needs to feel like they are contributing to society in a small way.
I agree.
Even the most misanthropic motherfucker needs to feel that their life is moving forward a little bit.
Right.
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but it almost sounds like you harbor a little bit of resentment because of your disability, that you can't live a quote-unquote normal life when it comes to employment.
I used to. Now I have... What the fuck? Oh, glitched, dropped. I used to really badly. But now that I have... now that I've found the advocacy, now that I've kind of come back into the blind community, because there isn't really an asthma or fibro community that I want to be a part of. Now that I've kind of found a purpose, kind of found a direction to go in, I'm totally fine. I still hold resentment that it took so goddamn long to find it, because I'm 36 for Christ's sake. But I mean, and I'm not making money on it, but it leaves me fulfilled. I like interacting with people. I like describing games to the blind. I like doing my accessibility reviews, first impressions, whatever you want to call them, because I don't actually review games. I just do the first 30 minutes to an hour of a game. Because two reasons. One, I'm lazy. Okay, let's just be real. I don't have time to go beating every fucking game I find. But two, and actually devs have commented on this, it gives people a candid look. This is exactly what you're going to get in the game. These are the options. This is the first hour or so. If you like it, buy the game. If you don't, then maybe the game's not for you. But it cuts all the professional bullshit out.
Son, agreed.
Because
agreed. Yeah.
like
Because, yeah.
with Sekiro, for example, everybody touted Sekiro as being an amazing game. I was pulling my fucking hair out in rage at that friggin' game.
Yeah.
Not because of the combat, which I'm okay with. I'm actually good with the combat. But the navigation was horrible. You can't move the camera where you need to move to be able to see what you need to see. There's no visual input to where you need to go. Hey, Glitch.
My apologies. My internet cut out for a moment.
That's okay. It happens. So normal people seeing normal reviews like ACG or like Upper Echelon or any of these other normal review peoples, they wouldn't see that because they're busy working, the professional bit. But with me, when you see the first hour of the game, you're going to notice, oh shit, that's a real issue if you've got visual problems.
Yeah. To talk about
So
that,
it sounds to me like your coping mechanism for everything that's had to happen in your past is being able to stand up and support those who you don't want to have to go down that same path.
That's
and
exactly
being
what it
able to
is.
Be like kind of that outlet for you.
Yeah.
The galvanizing moment was Civ Beyond Earth. I asked the devs because I wanted the game. It looked like a good game. I asked the people on Twitter, I think it was a CM, and he said, okay, strategic view is gonna be in the game. I said, okay. Then I went to a dev stream. I asked the devs, is strategic view gonna be in the game? I need it to be able to play it, otherwise I can't play your game. And they said, yes, it's totally gonna be in the game. I buy the game and they cut it. And I was fucking infuriated.
Which game was this? Was this Sekiro?
No, this was Civ Beyond Earth.
Okay, you said that. I'm sorry.
Strategy game. And that's okay. And I asked the dev and go, what the hell, man? You said it was going to be in it. Oh, no, we had to cut it for, this, that, and the other. And I was so infuriated that my wife said, what you need to do is you need to, tell people about this. And that kind of morphed into, I don't even want my worst enemy to feel as fucked over as I felt. I want my worst enemy to feel fucked over by me personally, because fuck that guy, whoever he ends up being. But I don't want anybody to have that feeling of, oh my god, I just wasted all of that money. I mean, now you can get refunds, but the point still stands. I don't want people to feel completely screwed over by a dev who doesn't give a shit about them. If you do get screwed over by a dev who doesn't give a shit about you, at the very least you should know before you buy the fucking game. So that's why I've been doing accessibility reviews. And the thing that got me into streaming was, I don't know if you guys remember the Arthur G's controversy with Doom 2016, how terribly bad he was at the game.
No.
There's a video out of apparently like an IGN writer or something like that called Arthur G's, who it turned out to be an intern, but he claimed it as his own, so fuck him. And he was playing Doom 2016 before it came out, and he was doing absolutely horribly, and he was getting ripped to shreds in comments and stuff. And so what I did is like, I can do better than that. I can barely fucking see. So I load up Brutal Doom because that's what I had at the time, and that's what got me started streaming. A bunch of people showed up, a bunch of people were laughing, and oh, this blind guy can do better than that fucking sighted guy whose job it is to review games. And so that's kind of where my streaming started. I am built on rage and spite and pride. I'm actually going to get spite and pride tattooed on the backs of my hands in Braille. I've got a bunch of tattoos I need to get. Fucking
How are you going to tattoo something in Braille? Are you going to get a little indents put into your skin to make sure it's readable?
You can't do subdermal implants, not without a bunch of money, and we don't have very much money, so I just do the dots. Tattoo artists love them. They're fucking easy as hell to put in.
I was just telling my friend Paige about the fact that Glitch is not hurting his eyes because he needs to sit that close.
Sadly,
the sun brings up a really good point. The muted colors in Sekiro were a bitch. You could not. It was so muddy. You couldn't see where anything.
John and I had talked about the fact that there should have been like what they could do with those types of games is like have like some sort of controller alert if you're using a controller or some sort of alert type system, so that way you have at least time to know like, hey, maybe I should dodge this because someone's coming at me. Like we had talked about that.
I dig the whole pinging thing, and I definitely think it should be like an option.
Yeah.
I know how Sekiro is. I know how FromSoft is. They want their games to be hard. I get that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that.
Get good, bro.
Yeah, I don't mind the get good mentality. I come from 4chan. I come from 8chan. I've heard it all.
I mean,
I'm totally fine with the get good mentality. The problem I have is when get good runs smack into your disabilities. I don't think your disabilities should be the reason you can't get good. I should
Yeah.
fail at Sekiro because the boss killed me, not because I can't fucking see where I'm supposed to go.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I'm not saying that I don't like the challenge. I just
Yeah.
think that a lot
And
of
I mean,
it-
if you watch my video, you'll see. I'll get to a combat point, I'll die, I'll come back, I'll figure out what I'm supposed to do. Okay, the combat's pretty good, combat's pretty fun, I like that a lot. And then I got stuck on this fucking bridge section at the very beginning of the game. I don't even think I was out of the tutorial yet. And I mean, if you look at what The Last of Us 2 did, if you look at what Brandon did with it, Super Blind Man did it. They tapped him, worked with him for 3 years, made an amazingly accessible game. And then you look at Sekiro, and it's like, shit. Like, just the echolocation feature that they used where they ping everything, that would have been amazing, because then it would have told me, okay, there's a ledge up there that I needed to jump. It took me 10 minutes to find that fucking thing.
Yeah, no, I agree, son, and that was what I was saying. I don't like the toxic side of that. There is
the funny thing is, everybody I've met on the Dark Souls community, like not on 4chan, because 4chan is a bunch of idiots, but like in general, they tend to be get good and here's how.
Well,
Because
yeah.
And even 4chan, I have brought up the disability thing on 4chan because they're like, oh, advocates, I need to start easy and Gamergate, blah blah blah, because I was part of Gamergate, and and I'll bring up, okay, that's cool. What about features like bigger fonts, UI scaling, control options, and stuff like that? They're like, oh, no, that's totally fine. We want everybody to play this game so they all know how shitty it is. And it's like, well, yeah, that's fair enough. Everybody should be able to play as many games as they can so that they, too, can come to your stupid conclusions.
I also agree with that. Now that being said, I do have a quick comment about what they did with The Last of Us 2. There are certain features that they put in that accessibility menu that I think should not have been put in.
Yeah, like in unlimited invisibility and stuff that actually makes the game easier. I don't have a problem with that in a single-player game. Also, they are not tied. There are no achievements tied to the difficulty. So, if there were achievements tied to the difficulty and you could just face roll the game with all the accessibility options, I would have a problem with that. But since they actively are attempting to make sure that everybody can experience Neil Druckmann's vision of what the world should be, or whatever the fuck it was that he wrote, I don't have a problem with that as much. In a multiplayer game, fuck no. No. You don't get to put in the accessibility options to make the game easier in a multiplayer game. That is absolute bullshit, and I will never support that. But in a single-player game, fuck it. Play how you want to play it. Like fucking Stardew Valley. I have a mod that gets rid of the fishing minigame because I fucking hate that minigame. It makes me ill. It's something with the colors. But I mean, it's just a single-player game that you're playing your way. Like, if my wife and I did a multiplayer world, I would never use that cheat because it's a cheat.
Have you always been this passionate about games, or was this something like happened recently?
When I was 2 years old, Dr. Don Fong of Sacramento, California, told my parents to get me into video games because it will train his hand-eye coordination. So thank you, Dr. Don Fong of Sacramento, California, who's still around, by the way. I actually looked him up.
Look at what was created.
Yes, look at what you've made.
Oops, I went to the wrong scene. There we go. We're back.
Have you actually talked to them? Like, since
I wish I could get in touch with him. He's too busy these days. But I mean, he was instrumental. And I mean, he got it. I mean, he understood what was going to happen, and I believe his idea was, well, if he's addicted to video games, I guess, I mean, at least he's using what vision he has. But I mean, he was always really good about that.
Wow, that's interesting.
Let's see, what does Sun say? Also, doesn't help when gaming media points to toxic elements to scream out loud that that's the whole. Yeah, that's true too, Sun.
Yeah, I don't know. If you guys have ever watched some of my streams, I put together some lovely cuss combinations, like sucking cunt motherfucker, or suck my dick. I say this repeatedly, and it's like I expect, I should have expected, like,
how foul.
It's like Wheels, you need to understand the game is not going to provide you fellatio. Stop trying to hope for this, okay?
My favorite euphemism is one that my roommate came up with.
Oh, we're calling them calling them euphemisms now. That makes them.
Yes, exactly, son.
Makes them sound so much more intellectually pleasing.
Oh yeah, we're sophisticated as hell.
If he's addicted to video games, he can't be addicted to drugs or other things. Well.
Yep.
So you said you're
Actually,
married.
funny story. I thought I was addicted to sex, and it turns out with the fibro, sex is just a really, really, really efficient way to deal with the pain. Gives you dopamine release for about 15 seconds. Gives your brain time enough to kind of move the pain around, so it's easier to deal with.
So can you break down fibromyalgia for me so I can understand why sex would be such a
Well, okay, what fibro is the way I had it described to me, and this is a fun story too. The way I had it described to me when I got my EMG was the EMG is a test to see if your nerves are damaged. And the way they viewed it is to see if all the light bulbs in your body, if any of them have gone out or are weak or dim or whatever. I said, what happens when all the lights in your body are on super bright turbo mode? And he goes, oh, well, then that would be excruciatingly painful. And it was.
Imagine that.
Do you feel like full body pain, or is it like localized anywhere?
It's mainly well, it gives you early age arthritis. It's in my nerves, in my muscles, in my joints. It's not all the time, but sometimes I'll get jolts. My joints really react to the weather. I'll get migraines from stress. Sex is excruciatingly painful as well as very pleasurable. The way I describe it is it's an open current throughout your body. It's just jolts electricity all the time, which like every so often, like right now, my left hand is spasming and like curled in.
Does it feel like so when you jolt your funny bone, kind of, but just all the time type thing?
That's not an inapt way to look at it. Yeah, it's very similar to that. It's mostly in my back and like now my hips have been screwed up because of joints and stuff.
Oh, I know about hip pain. I know all about hip pain because of all the transfers over the years.
Like, I'll bet you do.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so when you're having sex, does your dick hurt?
We can't have actual factual sex because of my lungs. But sex. I call it doing sex rather than having sex.
Let's go do sex.
I just lay on my back and the wife and I do stuff to each other.
Well, there you go.
Which is great because we don't want kids. Fuck it, right? We both get off. Problem solved.
All right.
But yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. She'll start doing what she does, and she has to stop because I'm in too much pain. She actually likes seeing how much she can make me spasm.
Do a sex human revolution. Yeah, that's the next game. Exactly. That's the next game that I'm working with them on that. We're experimenting with different women.
And do a sex.
Sex is inherently interesting to me in general, just because everyone does it differently, and it's always kind of interesting to compare notes.
Yeah,
especially when it comes to disabled people. We've got all kinds of ways to get to the
you know what I always think about when I think about that, like where it's like I remember in Family Guy how it's like I learned to operate a sex like a sex crane or something. Like Bonnie says that about Joe that's in the wheelchair. And then I like that other scene. It makes me think of like complicated things. Like you see the toilet. Peter's like, "Hey, can I use your toilet, Joe?" He's like, "Yeah, sure." And then Peter goes in there, and there's like a bunch of like weird like fucking things for him to put his
student's nightmare. I remember that scene. That was funny as hell.
Yeah, and I'm just like, yeah. I mean, it's not far from the truth though about the crazy things that we, the devices that we end up using.
Yeah, most of it's just being able to adapt. We cannot expect society to adapt to us. We have to adapt to society as best we can. Am I saying that we shouldn't have the ADA and we shouldn't have laws that protect us? No, I'm totally not saying that. But I'm saying that that's not the thing we should run to. The first thing we should do in any given situation is, okay, this door is closed. How the fuck do I get through that window? Before we go bugging the government.
I like that.
Before we go bugging the government to build another door. It's
exactly.
like I'm not saying the doors shouldn't exist. I'm saying we should try to get through the windows first before we go tearing down the fucking wall and fucking with the building.
Well, yeah, because
it's very well put and a very easy way to understand.
I like my
analogy in the future one day, so
feel free.
So you know.
But it's an entitled mentality, and I've noticed a lot of disabled people have it as well as a lot of everybody because we're part of the zeitgeist. We get it as badly as everyone else. Millennials are entitled. It's just how it is. We are the exception rather than the rule.
That's true, son. That is very true. Having
protections from abuse doesn't mean one should be able to become abusers. Exactly, son. That's exactly right. And it's honestly something that's really worried me, and it had me for a while there thinking I didn't want to be an advocate anymore, because I've looked at some of these other advocates and they are the most entitled motherfuckers in the world.
But then what's interesting
like
to me,
if they don't get a feature, they fucking go ape shit about how, oh, The Last of Us 2 did it, why can't the rest of you do it? Well, games are in development for years. Systems or like Pickle Feet Games made a great game called Wind and the Wilting Blossom. They used Unity 2018.
Mhm.
They can't update to Unity 2019, so there's only so much they can do with that engine. They still managed to do a little bit to make it a little bit more accessible. Like they've added some font scaling. The font is still dog shit, and they know it's dog shit, and they'll do better next time. And great fucking.
But
game
an attempt was actually made, though.
Yes, exactly.
And I think that's
and then they said that, look, we can't do it this time. We'll do it next time. And that's good enough for me, because they had seen my video, how much trouble I had with the game, and they'll be able to go, okay, he had trouble here in this exact way. Other ways, they're totally fine. Like the game field, totally viewable. It's like a strategy game, kind of turn-based thing. And I mean, like on the field, you can see all the units. You can see everything you need to see. Totally great there. It's just the font's a little small, and it's a little bit of a fucky font.
Yeah, it seems minimal, though. It seems like a minimal problem.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't expect every game ever to be super accessible. And in the same vein, some devs don't think it's worth putting in the time for these options. If you're working on a crunch, there's just no fucking time. And I totally get that.
That kind of leads into a conversation that I remember we had on a previous episode, and I don't know, I've brought this back up before, but Ricky had talked about a show. It was with Penn and Teller, and there was one where they had, they were kind of playing with the idea of like, when it might be a little bit over the top. Like, for instance,
episode,
like taking
trying to get some guy with an iron lung into the building.
Right.
You need to accommodate my iron lung.
Like that's the line. There's like that line.
It's illustrating the absurd by being absurd. I totally love that. I love that fucking episode. Dave Perry totally summarized exactly what I hate about the ADA in that episode. I don't know if he still believes it, but
right, because I think there's some points where I'll see something where it's like maybe this is going too far of the reasonable expectations of things,
You want to talk about a good idea gone bad? I got a perfect one for you. Those fucking yellow dots. Fuck those dots.
Really?
Fuck them if you're in a wheelchair. Fuck them if you've got a sight dog. The little dots that you find on corners to make sure you don't walk off them. I hate those goddamn things so much.
Why
My
do you
hand gets caught on them.
Oh, okay.
Dogs hate those things. They're scared shitless of them because they fucking hurt the dog's feet.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in a wheelchair, those things are a bitch to drive over sometimes. Like if you've got a weedy motor, or if you're like new to it.
That's interesting.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah, like if you've got good arm strength, or if you've got a really good motor, they're not an issue. But like, say you're getting older, or your motor's kind of weedy and you need to get it replaced, those things will absolutely fuck you.
Yeah.
What's better are those
lines.
The lines, exactly. The little indents into the.
That's what I was trying to say, but couldn't get it out.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I brought Sun Tea. And Sun Tea is wonderful, and it's full of caffeine, and I'm doubling up on my caffeine to make sure I wasn't too scared to talk.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, there was it's fine. I get it, man. Like, but
to reiterate, what are these lines you're talking about, John? You talking about like the deep indentation lines on the end of a sidewalk as opposed to the bumps?
Yep.
Yes. So like in some cities they have the bumps. And in others, you have instead of the curb just kind of sort of dropping, the sidewalk kind of dropping away and slanting down as it does.
As do I.
Pavement. It's got little indentations cut into it rather than raised bumps on top of it.
Yeah,
Can you still feel that through your shoes?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Oh no, guys! I got the bumps. Oh shit! I need to go see a doctor.
They're much easier to implement than the bumps. They're much easier on wheelchairs. They're much easier on canes. They're easier on dogs. You can feel them easily, and it's the same kind of ramp down. It's just they did it better before those goddamn bumps were fucking
That name reminds me of like a.
Here's my question though: is I want to know if
the
you guys
current
are in the
name.
minority or the majority of people who feel that same way.
I wonder because I've asked able bodies, I've asked disabled people of varying stripes. A lot of people really don't like those damn things.
Well, we've had a
And
varying
I've never
view
had an
though.
opinion on them, and
We've
I'm
had
in a
a-
wheelchair, and I hit them all the time.
Well, we had a
Hmm.
varying view though, Ricky, because when what was his what James when James was on the show, we had an episode where we were talking about how the dots were helpful in some ways, and it was like the opposite for him. His experience
Yeah.
was like different, and that's kind of interesting, like how there's an inverse.
That's why I wonder who's in the whose opinion's the minority and which one's the majority.
Yeah,
because-
and it's all anecdotal, and a lot of people don't really think about it, so it'd be really hard to gauge that. But
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
Um,
if you're an outlier in this situation, it sucks that you don't like those bumps. But then, like,
yeah, if I'm
you
an
know,
outlier, then
average-
yeah, there's nothing
I
to
think
do
we
with
got a
this.
poll question for I think we got a poll question that we should ask.
God,
you know,
I wish we had reach.
at some point.
So in my personal opinion, I don't have much of a problem with them either way. Bumps or lines. Now I
Indifferent.
prefer the lines.
Okay, so there is a preference.
I have a preference for the lines, but I'm not super bothered by the bumps.
He's a line
you have-
guy, not a bump
you
guy.
have you have an opinion on them, but not so strong of an opinion that you hate and have to go out there and want them destroyed. You have an opinion that you don't want your opinion affecting other people's opinion on it.
I don't
Yeah.
want them. I don't want them destroyed. I'm just upset that they're so widely prevalent when I feel the lines worked just as well with a lot less bullshit involved.
But I mean, I think
Yeah.
either way, there needs to be some sort of warning indication for certain
As
things.
angry as I get, I do not want to upset the apple cart. I don't want the world to change for me. I'm just pissed the world is changing in a direction I disagree with. I'm every old man ever.
Get off my fucking lawn, you fucking kid!
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
pretty
get
much.
that.
He's the angry old dude.
I probably should.
I've never really had a thought on that before.
Yeah.
But now I'm
It's
gonna look at them differently.
You brought it
I
to
definitely
light.
wanted to make sure that I made that point. I'm not here talking about entitlement whilst being entitled. No. I don't want the world to change for me.
But-
I just pissed that the world changed.
Are
Yeah,
there
but
any
you know,
other, like blind handicap things in the world that are seen as helpful that kind of annoy you as well, or vice versa?
Well, I mean, the obvious joke about
what
the fucking,
grind Ryan's gears?
yes, the obvious joke about the braille on the drive up ATMs. Those are kind of ridiculous. But other than that, I mean, in terms of them hurting us when they try to help us, there's not really that much other. I mean, some of the tones you get when you get to the crosswalks can be very ear piercing. But I mean, that's kind of the point of them, so it's really hard to bitch about that.
Right.
Other than
And
that,
that's something you probably need with your deafness, right?
yeah. But certain tones can give people migraines. That's more of a, you're not going to be able to please everyone, so you just kind of do the best you can and hope that you don't piss off too many people.
Right.
Honestly, the only other weirdness is in the U.S. there are blind gangs. There's the AFB, the ACB, and the NFB, and they do not agree on things. And it's really, really funny that we are such a diverse and disparate peoples that we have our little Cold War.
Yeah, I find that amusing.
It's funny as hell. I can't stop laughing about it. And sighted people don't believe me. And then I show them and they're like, oh my God, that's amazing.
The
deaf people don't have a gang community. No, they have the deaf community and people that are not in the deaf community, and that is fucking it.
I got the wheelie boys. The wheelie boys gonna come at you, man.
It just reminds me of the South Park episode.
Quadriplegics and paraplegics. There's kind of like quadriplegic and paraplegics work together, but if you're like in the same room, there's this unspoken disconnect of like the pairs are almost like, we're a little bit better than the quads, but they don't say it. But
blind
the energy is there.
people and deaf people have the exact same thing on either side. When I was going to blind school, we also took deaf kids to their deaf school because it was really close, because it was Fremont, California. And the blind people and the deaf people, they're friendly with each other, but there's a little bit is like, oh, you little motherfucker.
You feel that disconnect, but it's an unspoken disconnect, right?
It was half jealousy and half envy, and it was really entertaining because nobody was openly hostile, but we would always we would always give shit, we would always give jokes, and the partially deaf and the partially blind would go, these motherfuckers are talking about us.
Gangland.
Exactly.
I didn't know this was
Yeah,
going to
I
become
can-
an episode of
I can
Gangland.
understand this. 'Cause it's always about
What musical do blind gangs enjoy most? West Side Story. Nice.
West Side Story?
That's great.
Where am I
That's a
sounding-
brilliant pun.
Where are my sound
I have to
effects
give
when I
credit for
need
that.
them?
That's
So
why
I
I
have,
buy
a
some games every
story
so
about
often.
my site that I would like to share with you guys. So not to flaunt in front of you guys or anything, but I've had perfect vision my entire life. Like I've been able to read and see and everything, right? And it's always something I've been proud of, and something I've always been like, at least that's not another disability I have to deal with.
Yeah.
But this week I went to the eye doctor
Oh,
for the first
no.
time, and I finally need eyeglasses.
Well,
And so
fuck!
now I'm finally joining the less sighted people. I need glasses for reading and computer use now.
They
And
try giving
I
me
feel terrible
glasses.
that I'm adding more disabilities onto my disability now.
See, that was always my weird thing. There's a group that think out there that I really, really don't like. It's disability pride. And
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I dig being open and upfront with your disabilities. People got to know this shit. Fine. I don't even mind answering questions. I love answering questions.
I'm going to
evidence.
find out with me pretty quick.
But the thing I hate is when people take pride in having disabilities rather than the things that they have accomplished in spite of or because of the disabilities.
Do you have an example you could give?
Yeah.
I think I understand, but I don't understand fully.
Like, there's a difference between autism speaks and I graduated high school in spite of the asthma, in spite of the blindness, in spite of the deafness, in spite of not doing 3 years of work. You know, just to cite a regular example, or rather, I survived jail and didn't get raped.
I know another thing though, Ryan, that I think I think that follows what you're saying. Because like sometimes there's been people that have done this weird thing with me where it's like I understand when someone, like the other day someone had said something and I was totally fine with this, but he was like, the guy in the stream was saying that, hey, I think it's really awesome. I think people should take their hat off for this guy because it's cool how he's doing his stream thing.
Inspiration porn. I fucking hate that.
Despite what he's doing. I mean, okay.
That's cinnamon? Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Let me finish with what I'm saying though real quick. 1 second though. Because I do like the guy. I know his heart's in a good place. And I don't think that see, it's different when I know the person. If I know the person that's doing it, it's a little bit different. I'm not saying that
you know where they're coming from.
I know where he's coming from. I know what he was trying to get at. But there's some people that I don't know, and that's the part that bothers me, is when people do this whole thing like the, I guess the participation trophy people. Those type of people.
Exactly. That's a really good way of putting it. Oh, you're so great doing the,
That's
normal. You're so great taking out the trash like a normal person. It's like, I'm just trying to live my fucking life. Can you mind fucking off kindly? Disability pride. Are we going to march half naked and dancing in our canes in the street all over each other because we can't see or hear each other as we roll our wheelchairs to City Hall?
Some feet might get broken too.
All right. Speaking on disability pride, I hate when people have pride for you and they refer to you as you people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
You
you're so
people.
strong, you're so brave. Wow, you guys really just keep on living despite all your problems. Wow, I know what you're going through. No, you fucking don't. And I don't need
You
to
people.
be the hero just because I'm trying to live my fucking life. Fuck you.
Yeah, see that I get a lot. I fucking hate that. It's
Dude, I get it. I get it
Yeah.
every single fucking time I go to a bar. Some drunk guy comes up to me. He's like, man, I know someone who's got a disability, so I know what you're going through, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy to see you out and about. So it's so nice to see you smiling. And I was like, fuck off, you stupid piece of fuck. I don't give a shit about your shitty ass opinion and you wanting to feel good about yourself because, oh, look, I talked to a handicapped guy today and it made him smile. It made him feel better about himself because I said something.
Yes, exactly. See, dude, I get where they're coming from. I get it. But no.
Here's your trophy.
Someone who has a disability. You talk to them like a normal person, and you ask them questions. That's how you fucking relate to someone.
I will try. When I get that bullshit, I will try like hell to go. I appreciate the thought, dude, but I'm just trying to live my life. I'm just a human. I've just got physical or mental problems, as the case may be.
Yeah, Ryan is just an asshole like the rest of us.
Yes, exactly right, son.
That guy is an asshole.
Able-bodied. In fact, I dare say I'm more of an asshole than regular able-bodied.
But this is why he's part of the show. I was like, we need an asshole on here.
There you go. I believe I can fill that quota.
I get it all the time.
I'd
And
love
at
to
first
see
I'm
someone
nice
who
about it.
isn't
I'm like,
disabled
thanks,
try
man,
to tell me
appreciate
why.
it, because I know they're just trying to vent and stuff. And then
Yeah.
after a while, I get quiet. But I think I need to start being more of a dick about it and being like, you know what? No, fuck you.
No, I
And
wouldn't,
like,
I wouldn't
Right.
be an overt.
I tried being a dick about it a little bit ago. Like I went
Yeah.
out not too long ago, which I
Ooh.
probably shouldn't have. There was way too many about. But this
Oh.
drunk guy comes to me. He's trying to shake my hand. I was like, dude, I don't want to touch you. And then he kept putting his hand out like he wanted to shake my hand. Like, I don't want to fucking touch you. I was like, there's Corona everywhere, and you're gross, and you're drunk.
Oh, speaking
Leave me alone.
I have a
But
good
I told
story.
I was just like, cool, thanks, man. All right, appreciate all your compliments. Go away.
I have a good
That's a fun-
story about
that's a
something
fun-
like that.
That's a fun thing about Fibro. This is really quick. I cannot stand
You're
being
good.
touched. It fucking hurts to be touched. Like especially
can
out of the
imagine.
blue, because all of your nerves, which are already hypersensitive, go surprise, and you hurt for days.
Surprise, motherfucker.
So, like if somebody were to touch me to try to put on a mask on me, because I can't wear masks either, I would straight up slug them in the mouth. Just it wouldn't even be a conscious thing. It would be instinctual. Just pain, punch, remove pain. That would be it.
I'll flat out
All right,
ask
so you
them.
said you can't wear masks.
Wait,
Why is that? Out of curiosity.
I already have a hard enough time breathing. If
Oh.
if I put anything around my mouth, it becomes even harder to breathe, and I'll probably die again.
All right, I'll read this real quick. I'll flat out
Again.
ask them so you can relate to having a seizure and shitting and pissing yourself. Really, right on. Tell me all about how bad you hurt after the seizures. Yeah, like people.
Oh,
like,
that's gotta suck.
people trying to relate to. Yeah, it's like you relate to that. It's like no, you don't.
I know
Like,
what you're going through, dude.
I hope you have a loving. I hope you have a loving wife or parent, or at least a caregiver who can. A caregiver who doesn't treat you like a patient.
He's got a wife that's amazing from what I
God
know.
bless you, man. God bless her.
From what I know.
Because my wife has straight up told me, if I ever become that bad, if I ever come where she has to clean me up, she's gonna nope out. And I told her, you know what? That's totally fine. I wouldn't ask you to stay for that.
Sounds like you have a great wife there.
Yeah,
BlindRyan.
Tinker is a great. She is a great lady.
Yeah, apparently she does love the shit out of you, dude.
Yeah, and
See,
Zan,
it's a literal
Zan,
joke.
you're good people. You're good people. I've always loved playing games with you and stuff. But the funny story that I was going to have, or somewhat funny story. Okay, so like I used to drink. I don't drink anymore. I'm sober now. But anyways, when I did, I was in Ocean City this one time, and this one guy, like was saying, "Oh, I'll buy you a drink." It's like I understand, man. I know that you've been through war and stuff. And I'm like, dude, I wasn't a veteran. It's like, no, man. I know you're lying about it. It's fine.
The way
I'll
the
take
way
care
I
of
always-
you. I'll take care of you, man. I'll take care of you. He wouldn't believe me, and he just kept buying me drinks. He's like, you know, man, you're a hero, man. You're like, I was like, I'm not a veteran. Again, I'm not a veteran, dude. What?
The way I found to deal with extra
What the
nice
fuck?
people is they get one, are you sure? Hey man, let me buy you a drink. Are you sure? Yes. Okay. That's because after that it begins to get a little insulting to them, because why wouldn't this guy take my nicety? I'm trying to be nice to this guy.
Nicely.
Doesn't matter the reason why. It just that's just kind of how I've always been. One, are you sure? And then, okay, be as nice as you want. The pragmatic side of me appreciates this free handout. Speaking of free fucking handouts, disability is a big reason why a lot of people don't get into the workforce.
Yeah.
It's not the only reason, but it is a reason.
Oh, okay, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's, but then there's also like, I also noticed that it seems like there's a split between the communities. So I'm not saying that this is on purpose, but I've noticed that the military crowd that's been disabled versus like the other disabled people, I think there's like sometimes a disconnect. But I have related to some of those people, and I am friends with a lot of those people. But I've noticed this. I picked up on this. I don't know. Have you guys seen that a little bit? Where I'm not saying it's like a fuck you to the other people. Nobody's saying fuck you. But
it's an uneasiness because
the
military people see that we've had to deal with this all their lives, and we see that they're just now having to deal with this. It's almost a kind of pity daisy chain, and you don't want to pity them because you don't want to be pitied yourself. Right. But at the same time, it's like, oh, that's gotta suck.
Right, exactly.
So you don't know how to bring it up. Actually, I know exactly how to bring it up. Whenever I see a disabled military veteran, I thank them for their service and go, man, if I wasn't born this way, I'd have done it too.
Yeah, I mean,
exactly.
Another
and
thing,
they tend to.
That's what I do too.
when they know that you're,
Yeah.
you're not one of those anti-military fuckheads, they tend to be much more kind of open with it. And that's how I found out. I've just found dealing with regular people, when you joke about it and you speak moderately eloquently,
Yeah.
they know, okay, he's got his brain, he's just got fucked up eyes, fucked up legs, fucked up what have you. Treat him like a normal person, a slightly smaller or slightly blinder normal person.
Yeah.
It's mostly just dispelling.
Basically, I think what you're trying to say is people appreciate honesty and openness.
But there's a
Yeah.
part that you
Well, I mean,
can't
you look at-
relate to, though, too, with the. I think that some people.
Well,
don't
that's
relate
where
to
you
it.
ask questions.
Where there's like the physical part. Okay, we have the physical part, but sometimes the mental didn't go with it, or maybe we've had to deal with mental because, like with me, I had to deal with. I've had to deal with some initial depression when I stopped walking. It was hard
Oh
for
yeah,
me to
a
deal
lot
with.
of. I'm pretty sure every disabled person deals with self-worth issues and stuff like that.
Yeah, my wife.
It's just kind of inherent.
If you tell her thanks for her service, it's a damn insult. She didn't serve you; she served her job. Her words, not mine. I can understand.
I've seen
I
that
understand what
mindset too.
I understand what she means by that.
I've heard that mindset too, and my general response to that is, "Hey, I wish I could have gotten the job then." my thing is, I wish I could have served in the military because that means I would have been able to do something of importance. And I understand that a lot of people don't think of it as important, but I've always felt the defense of one's country is something to be lauded. I still think they should let the disabled in the military. Put us at desk jobs, let us do our jobs.
The Israelis do it.
Yeah.
Dang.
I think honest to God, I think if you want to work and can display that you are capable of working, you should be able to work. I'm not saying you should get the job for free. I'm not saying we should get preferential treatment.
Yeah,
I'm just saying if you want to contribute, there should be a way for you to contribute without having to resort to fucking Twitch streaming or YouTubing. I mean, thank God we can do it, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I enjoy doing it. Like, I enjoy these things. I enjoy this conversation.
And I'm glad we finally found things that we can obtain fulfillment through. You know, you doing your podcast and me doing my other stuff.
Yeah, because I
But
really,
at the same time, it's like we're
love this.
Yeah, we want to work. Don't just throw us away because our legs don't work, our lungs don't work, our eyes don't work, what have you. They give it something.
I mean, we got some sexy beards here. You know, we got that
Exactly.
sexy guy up there. You know, doing his thing.
Yeah, speaking of you and John both got the same hairstyles right now.
Yeah, the fucking awesome hairstyle.
I do too, but I'm self-conscious. I'm growing out a skullet.
A what?
A skullet. It's a mullet,
skullet.
except I'm bald on top.
Yeah, hey, you know, that's a good look.
I call it the Devin Townsend.
I think Trevor from or what was it, Trevor or Travis from GTA would be proud.
Trevor has a skullet, yeah.
Yeah. I love that actor.
He's never do anything that good again. That is gonna be his role forever.
That was great.
All right, well, I think talking about skullets, I mean, we're coming up on an hour.
Skullets.
That's a pretty good place to start.
Hey, you almost got me there, Vile. That was a good. You almost got me with that knock. You didn't get me though. I saw it. I saw it. You sneaky fuck. Sorry, Ricky.
I was just saying it seems like a good place to start wrapping things up after talking about skullets.
Well, yeah, maybe we should ask the audience.
Anyone wanted to make some final points?
Yeah, if anybody has any other questions they want to know. Oh, I should probably talk about the dying thing. I brought that up. I figured that might be interesting.
Yeah, let's close on that. Let's talk about how you died, and then we'll.
There's the obvious premature baby in '83, too much oxygen, died a bunch, incubator, blah blah blah. I've died over 12 times with that. So post childhood, I've died 3 times and have been clinically dead for over 3 minutes. I'm wondering if that is part of the reason why I am the way I am. But it's always asthma related. I've always had a super strong attack and just collapsed and died. So what does death feel like from an asthma attack? I will tell you, your blood turns to lava and your ribs turn to liquid or to molten lead, and it just squeezes and squeezes and squeezes until you die. Now, it doesn't take long, but it is extremely painful, more painful than anything you could possibly imagine, because you're trying to get air and you can't. So you're choking or drowning. I've done both. And I've had NDEs. I've had near-death experiences. The funniest one was the third one, because it's all three the same. I always meet death. in some way, shape, or form. Third time I met Death, he gave me this look like, what the fuck are you doing here again? Get the fuck out of here. And so come back again. And I know it's all your brain hallucinating to give you, an easier way to pass, but it's still a really funny story.
Okay.
So it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna run with it.
That was it?
So you've died how many times now then over the course of your 36 years?
Over the course of my 36 years, I have died a total of 15 times. But
He's a
12 of
fucking
those
zombie.
were when I was born, so I don't really count those.
But he's a
So, yeah,
sexy
3
zombie.
times,
The first-
then. You've
Yep.
died 3 times for a total of over 30 minutes.
Yep. The first time was my brother was playing Perfect Dark on the N64, and he blasted a trooper like up a flight of stairs, which on the N64 wasn't really possible, but he somehow managed to do it, and it made me laugh so hard I died. The second time was in jail. This was
Wait. He laughed to death.
I laughed myself to death. Yes, I'm a connoisseur of comedy.
Hey, so we're going to do
Wow.
ways of death with Ryan.
Yes. So the second way I died was in jail. Some guy tried to hang himself with sheets, so everybody had to lose their sheets, so nobody would hang themselves. Fucking dick. So they bring in these horse blankets that they smell like they're covered in kerosene, and I warned them. I said, dude, if you put that in my room, I'm gonna have an asthma attack and I'm gonna die, and you're gonna be on the hook for it. And he's like, oh no, you don't need to worry about that. It's nothing you need to worry about. 3 o'clock in the morning, I die. And my roommate is flipping the fuck out. This ex-gangbanger, this tough motherfucker is losing his goddamn mind.
Oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have anybody to play gin rummy with.
What am I going to do?
So
Yeah.
every time you died, how do they bring you back?
They clear the obstruction in my lungs, or they reinflate my lungs, depending on which it was. And they just get air into me as quick as possible. So basically, they put me on a respirator.
Are you ever scared that people are just going to think that you're crying wolf and be like, oh, this fucker's just dying again?
No, because you can tell. Lips go blue, pale, all that kind of shit. But I do worry that people think I'm faking it. And the worst part is I have no way to really prove it except to say, no, it actually happened. The third time was my wife and I, we left our car at my buddy's place and we walked in the middle of the night to get there. And we thought it was only going to be like an hour to walk. And it turned out to be like 3 hours. So 3 solid hours of walking in the summer night. And it was around 78 or 80 degrees, which is right about the cutoff point for my lungs. Anything above 80 degrees and my lungs start to get really bad. And we finally get to the car and I dash my ass to the car because I know I'm going to pass out. So I just run like hell to the car, get in the car, sit in the car, and then just died. Scared the absolute hell out of my wife. So apparently I'm not allowed to do that again. So.
I mean, in good reason. I can understand why she wouldn't want you to die.
Yeah.
Most spouses are,
they tend to be against that. That tends to be.
I'd say so. And I'm pretty against anyone close to me dying in general. So, I'm not.
Oh, she knows. I can't wait
on that opinion of you not wanting to die. So
I cannot wait to abandon this useless fucking shell. As it gets more and more useless, I get more and more. I just cannot wait because I believe in an afterlife. I believe in a God. I don't know which one. I'm sure there's one of them out there, but I believe in God. I'll tell you why. 2 reasons. 1, I have an amazing sense of smell and asthma. That's just funny. And 2, fractals. If you don't know what fractals are mathematic formula that appear in nature. Leaves, waves, how they form, rock patterns. There are all these patterns in nature. And I don't think random chance can make anything that mathematically perfect. And
well, that's a topic for another time because I have the complete opposite opinion of you on that. But
yeah, well, that's fine. We'll find out when we get there, right?
Right.
Yeah,
and
the next
that's
next time we have you on.
That's the best part. Look at us. We are disagreeing respectfully. Do you remember when that was the norm? Oh my God!
Not a lot of people know how to agree to disagree nowadays.
Right?
Imagine that.
The best part is there's nothing we can change. Say we disagree on politics. Say you vote for Biden, I vote for Trump. What does it really matter? We don't matter. We're ants. We don't make any influence in this world. So us disagreeing and getting hostile and getting angry with each other, it's utterly pointless because the things we disagree on aren't going to change the world. It's just philosophy. It's just the things that we believe. It doesn't make you a
damn.
bad person because we
Teachers
disagree.
with sudden death syndrome. I know all
Absolutely.
about what it's like to lay dead on the table and be shocked back to life. It hurts bad. Yeah, no, I can
They
imagine.
haven't had to shock me yet. I can't imagine how much that would hurt.
Yeah.
I did take a nitro tab once when they thought I was having heart trouble. Don't ever take a nitro tab unless you really need it.
Respectful disagreement. Another lost superpower like
I've
common
had to take
sense.
nitro paste, but never a
There you
nitro
go.
tablet.
Oh God, that made my heart beat like you wouldn't fucking believe.
Um.
Oh,
I
that
can
caused such a migraine.
Also, I was just thinking there is a few announcements I was thinking about. We're going to start being more active on. I'm going to be more active with Twitter about kind of sharing what's going on in our lives and stuff. I know that's kind of off topic a little bit here, but I wanted to kind of say it before we ended because I just wanted to
we
say
are
that,
wrapping everything up, so
that we are kind of trying to make.
Yeah.
I want to
Wrap
make
it
it
up
more
and
of a connection. With I want you to get to know us a little bit more. By
Yeah,
the things
anybody
that
who
we're
wants
doing.
to contact me, let me see here, can contact me on Twitter using that hashtag or using that username hashtag.
Beware following that Twitter though.
No.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm
No.
totally
My
kidding.
porn Twitter is completely different. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, damn.
I also do my
Alright.
spicy takes on the other Twitter too. I try to keep that one kind of professional.
Nitro sucks. Yeah. By the way, to answer your question there, Vile, at some point we will do a horror thing. I don't know when that'll be. That's a different. That's a different stream that I'll do because I typically stream later. Maybe we'll do that later. We'll see.
Horror
about that.
games.
We will
Play
see.
Carrion. It's a
Alright,
reverse
well.
horror game where you play the Blob. It is insanely fun. And the sound design is so on point that you can actually hear each individual tentacle
boy.
as it hits the wall. It is very soothing.
Well, that's something we may have to explore. But
Check
check us
this
out,
out.
Ricky.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Real Life Problems. You can subscribe to us wherever podcasts are found. Follow us on Twitter at Problems Wheel. You can follow me. I'm not on Twitter, but I got social medias. You can follow me at The Rickles. You can follow Bill. He's at Wheelchair Gamer. If you're already here, you probably already know his Twitter anyways. You can follow John at Glitched Vision, and you can follow Ryan at BlindRyan #1.
Yep.
So,
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for being on, Ryan. It was really fun getting to know all your crazy death-defying stories and your jail times.
Sadly, tip of the iceberg. I've got a lot of
yeah,
them.
Next time you're on, we'll go even deeper.
Oh yeah, I have no limits, man. I started off with jail. Where else is there to go?
Yeah, thanks everybody for
there's
watching.
We can go. We
Thank-
can go.
Thanks for the support. I really do appreciate
Hey,
it. Thank you so much.
If you
for
want to
supporting us.
challenge me about things I won't answer, you're gonna lose that challenge. There's literally nothing I won't answer. I'm
To
kinda
be
anal.
continued. To be
Perfect.
continued.
That's the best kind of interviewee or interview. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thanks again,
No,
and
you
remember,
said it
keep it real, guys.
Yep.
And don't lose sight of the future.
Ah,
Remember
clever.
this time.
All
All right,
right.
see you guys.
In 2020. Don't lose sight.